Here we're going to talk about probability. And probability is really just the chance of something happening. And so we normally write it as a fraction. And so on the top in the numerator, you have the number of successes, which kind of means whatever you wanted to happen, happened. And it's also sometimes referred to as favorable outcomes. So the number of successes goes in the numerator, and then in the denominator goes the number of possibilities. What are all the possible things that could happen? And so when you get problems like this, a lot of times you'll see them written in fractional form for the answers, and sometimes they will be in lowest terms for fractions. So if you don't know how to convert a fraction to lowest terms, you need to watch that video. And then also they may be converted from a fraction to a percentage. So if you don't know how to do that, you need to watch the video on percentages. So the first way we're going to think about probability is by using a dice, which everyone is pretty familiar with. It has 6 sides, and there are 6 separate numbers on each side. So you have a 1, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, 6. And so when you roll a dice, you only get one of these numbers to come up. So the question might be, what is the probability that when you roll a dice, you roll a 3? So the way we're going to figure that out is, first of all, we think about what are the number of successes? How many ways can we get the thing that we want? Well, when we roll it, we're going to get one of these 6 numbers. There's only one 3, so the dice doesn't have, 2 3s on it. So there's only one way that we can be successful, is if we roll this one number that's on the one side. So we only have one chance for success, one number of success, is if we roll that number. In the denominator, what are the number of possibilities? When we roll the dice, we can come up with any of these 6 numbers. So there's 6 different possibilities that we can have when we roll the dice. So in the denominator, the total number of possibilities is 6. So our probability to roll a 3, there's only one chance that we can get a 3 is if we roll that one number, and there's a total of 6 possibilities. So the probability is 1 over 6, or 1/6. Now they may leave it in fractional form, or they may convert it to a decimal and then to a percentage, which is 0.166 repeating, which will round this up to 16.7%. So this would be the answer to that probability. How about what is the probability that we roll a 2 or we roll a 5? So the probability that we roll a 2 or a 5. So what are our number of successes? How many ways can we be successful? Well, we'll be successful if we roll a 2, or we'll be successful if we roll a 5. So we have 2 chances here. If we roll a 2 or a 5, we'll be happy. So our total number of successes is 2, because we have 2 numbers that will make us happy. Our number of possibilities is still the same. When we roll that dice, it's going to give us one of these 6 numbers. So in the denominator, it's still 6. So our answer to this would be 2 over 6, but remember, they will most likely, in your answer choices, have made this into lowest terms. If you don't know how to do that, watch the video. Or change it to a percentage. And we'll just round that again. So that would be the answer to that question. I'm going to take a pause and put another type of question up. So let's say we have marbles and we've put them in a bag. We have 3 green marbles, 2 red marbles, and 5 blue marbles. We shake them up and put them in a bag, shake them up, and we're going to randomly draw one of them. What is the probability that we would draw a red marble? So, number of successes, how many times can we be successful? Well, there's 2 reds in there, so if we draw either one of those reds, we're going to be successful. That's what we want. So in the numerator, We have 2, because there's 2 of them in the bag. What's the total number of possibilities? So what are the different total number of ways that we can draw a marble out of the bag? Well, there's 3 green, 2 red, 5 blue. So there's 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 5 is 10. There's 10 total marbles. So there's 10 different marbles, 10 number of possibilities when we draw one out that we would 10 different marbles that we could get. So the probability of drawing a red one is 2 over 10. Again, they would likely write this in lowest terms or write it as a percentage. So let's do another problem. What is the probability of not drawing a red? So the way you can think about this is by not drawing a red means that we're either going to draw green or blue. So if they give you a not question, like you're not going to do something, you can think of that as what's the probability of doing everything but that then? So what's the probability of drawing a green or a blue marble? Well, our number of successes, to draw a green, we have 3 marbles in there. To draw a blue, we have 5 marbles in there. So that's a total of 8 marbles, 3 plus 5, because we'll be happy with either one, a green or a blue. So 3 plus 5 is 8. What's the total number of possibilities? Well, there's again 10 marbles in the bag. So 10 goes in the denominator. Write that in lowest terms or as a percentage. Whoops. 80%. And so intuitively you can look at these two and they should make sense. The percentage of drawing a red is 20%, of not drawing a red is 80%. So when you add these two together, 20 plus 80%, it's 100%. So intuitively that makes sense, but this is how you would solve them individually. Now let's think about if we are going to take 2 marbles out. So let's say we take 2 green marbles out. So we look in the bag, we grab 2 greens, and we take them out. So now we don't have 3 green marbles anymore, we just have 1. So now what is the probability that we're going to draw a red one? So we again just think of it as the same. So number of successes, we have 2 red marbles. The number of possibilities, now we don't have 10 marbles in the bag anymore because we only have 1 green. So 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 5 is 8. So now we only have a total of 8 marbles. So that goes in the denominator. We do the same thing. That's the same as 25%. Alright, let's say that we're going to put the 2 green marbles back in. Now we're going to do 2 things in a row, 2 actions in a row, or what they can call 2 events in a row. So we're going to draw 2 times in a row. Okay? What's the probability of getting a green marble, putting it back in the bag, and then drawing a blue marble? So we have all the marbles. We're going to draw a green, put it back, and then draw a blue one. What's the probability that we can do that in that sequence? So the probability of getting a green, same as what we've always been doing. The number of successes, well, there's 3 of them in there. There's a total of 10 marbles. Then we're going to put that back. So whatever we draw out, we're going to put it back. What's the probability of drawing a blue? Well, there's 5 blues. And because we put this one back, there's still 10 marbles. So the probability of drawing a blue is 5 over 10. But what's the probability of doing both of those actions? Not just one and then the other, of doing those 2 actions in a row. The way you figure that out is you're just going to multiply these 2 percentages. So figure the 2 out individually and then multiply them together. So if you don't know how to multiply fractions, you need to watch that video. So 3 tenths, times 5 tenths. And we get 15 over 100 equals 0.15 equals 15%. So your probability of drawing a green, putting it back in the bag, and then drawing a blue is 15%. Okay, what now if we're going to draw 2, but we don't put it back? So we're going to draw a green and then draw a black without putting it back. So we again kind of do it the same way. What's the probability of drawing a green? Well, there's still 3 green in there, and there's 10 marbles. But then we're going to hold on to whatever marble we get. We're going to hold on to it and draw a blue. Well, we're going to try and draw a blue. So what's the probability of then drawing a blue? Well, there's 5 blue marbles. But remember, we've taken a marble out, so there's not 10 marbles in there anymore. There's only 9. So to do 2 actions in a row, we just multiply their probabilities. I'm going to round that to 16.7%. All right, I'm going to take a pause and put one last question up. One last example. One thing that they might assume is that you know what a deck of cards is, how many cards are in a deck of cards, and the different suits and the number in each suit. Because probability questions often also come with respect to deck of cards. So you should know this. There are 52 cards in a deck. There are 13 spades, 13 clubs, 13 hearts, and 13 diamonds. These are black cards. The hearts and diamonds are red cards. So here's a question you might get. 2 red queens are removed from the deck of cards. What is the probability that a red card is drawn? So before you do anything, they are going to remove 2 red queens, which means 2 of your red cards are removed. So you now have 12 hearts and 12 diamonds. So what is the probability that a red card is drawn? So, number of successes. So anytime we draw a red card, we consider that good. That's what we want. We have a total of 12 hearts and 12 diamonds, so we have 12 plus 12, 24 ways to get a success. The number of possibilities is the total number of cards. So remember, there's normally 52 cards in a deck, but we took 2 of them out. So 52 minus 2 means that we're only working with 50 cards. So this would be your probability. They would put it into lowest terms and possibly into a percentage. So same type of problem, so don't get kind of freaked out if you're looking at word problems. Just make your way through it, same formula, and just figure out what are your successes and what are the probabilities.